I think eventually everyone who lives in this world on some level realizes that what we do has a ripple effect. What I mean by ripple effect is that whatever we do has some kind of bigger outcome than just the things that we think it does. So say you smile at somebody, and then because of that smile, they end up doing something good for someone else. Ultimately, you don't really know how far the effect of something simple would even be. But I think that it also can work in reverse too. There's been actions I've had that I couldn't really imagine how it affected so many people. I try more than I used to make the things that I do have some kind of positive effect. I've also been observant of the lives of many people that have had a larger impact on many people. I notice that the people who tend to cause a lot of harm, that ultimately they either have a bad death or a bad end, or they aren't really satisfied with their life deep down, or they're afraid of what comes after this life, regardless of what they believe in. There's usually some cause for concern. I think that anybody who goes around living like what they do doesn't matter, and the effect that they have on others doesn't matter. I used to be one of those kind of people, and it was very foolish, because it was totally wrong. The things that I did affect other people. Now keep in mind, people do make mistakes, and there's plenty of times where I've intended to do something good, but it's had the opposite effect. But I think what mattered was that I did intend something good, even if the outcome wasn't what I expected or hoped for. But getting back to the observations I've made about people, there's certain people who have had a positive effect on others in the world, and I do tend to notice that in general those people have more of what they want, or they're happier, or they have relative sense of peace in their life. Those types of people that do lots of good tend to be surrounded by the kind of people that they would want to be with. I think the summary of it would be that if you want good, then do good, and if you don't care, I think that lack of caring does ultimately lead to sort of a reciprocation back at that person, where their life is in a state of disarray, or they lack happiness or satisfaction with their life. It doesn't really matter sometimes how much money somebody has either. If somebody's used to having a lot of money, then it really matters how they feel about their life, because they already have all the basic needs met. So what matters would be quality of life rather than money. I think it's very possible to have very little money and have a good quality of life. And then I think it's very possible to have a lot of unhappiness, but also have a lot of money. And I think a lot of that does have to do with actions, choices. I look around at the world and I often see a lot of things that don't really help anybody, and in fact usually do the opposite. I think it's a cool idea to have a lot of money, but ultimately everybody passes away, and what do we really have to show for it? Because the money will get passed down to whoever, whether it's family or somebody else. All the property that's owned will just get passed on. I think what ultimately matters is a person's character, their conduct. And even though I know that, nobody is perfect, I think that in a big way, a lot of the people that have the biggest voices that affect the most people are also people who have some of the worst effect on many people. They're paid to be there. They're not doing it to help people. And I don't know if many of them care, because there is a paid thing. It is paid, it's not charity. Many news anchors and people like that, they're just spewing out more of the same stuff that has already turned our society into a very worldly based society that's oblivious of the things that really matter. I think a lot of people don't care about what really matters, but then I also think there's a lot of people who want more meaning in their life. Being able to be real with people has a lot of meaning. But when I get real, I try to make it something that's positive. I want to talk about this in another video sometime, but it has to do with energy and how human beings are, at the base level, just energy. And so it actually makes sense that whatever we say and do is energy. And so the ripple effect is really just a ripple of energy. And that energy can affect far more than us because we don't actually see it ripple out. It reminds me of that saying about a butterfly flapping its wings and then a gust of wind happening on the other side of the world. It's kind of like that. So to summarize this, if you want a good quality of life for yourself, then try to make your ripple effect a good one. Try to focus on your own actions and things you do and say. Try to make them positive. Especially if you're in a position where you can affect a lot of people. Because at the end of the day, it really isn't about money, it's about quality of life. The poorest people can have an amazing quality of life, and the richest people can be miserable. The other thing about positivity is that you can have that regardless of your situation. See, money can come and go. People who are rich can become poor, and people who are poor can become rich. But all those people can have positivity and have a good quality of life. I guess it comes down to doing the things that you know deep down would be beneficial to yourself and others, and trying to discover what those things are. It took me many, many years to figure this out, and I made a lot of observations about my own life and how it took huge downturns when I made mistakes, and when I did bad things and when I didn't care. My own quality of life was ruined for kind of a long time. But when I changed, that's when I saw improvement. And that's a choice. And it's not always the easiest choice, and we don't always know how to make it. Anyway, have a good day.
Time to die, hero!
Give up while you still can! You won't leave Skyrim alive!